Hello everyone, this is Amit Korai. I am a performance tester slash engineer in one MNC company in Kolkata, India. This is my first video in YouTube, and this video is all about performance testing. So you guys can say it's like a performance testing tutorial. So my first class or my first video will be about only the basics of performance testing. Later on, gradually I will discuss about different kind of performance testing tools, and I will demonstrate or I will show hands-on on different kind of various performance testing tools like load runner, JMeter, etc. Then I will do couple of other things also regarding performance testing and engineering only. So this first class or this first video will be only based on like performance testing overview. So let's get started. So first is like what is performance testing? Performance testing is kind of a non-functional testing which is basically required to understand any application, whether it is a thick client or it is a thin client application. So the understand the application behavior with respect to application response time, application throughput, the capacity of the application, the reliability of it, and the durability or the endurability of the application under a certain workload or user load or any other kind of load. Now we can perform this performance testing of like any server or any network performance testing could be there, or of any device like any printer device as such, those kind of things. So when we are talking about performance testing, it's all about when we are talking about any application performance testing, then it's all about how much fast is your application is. That means ultimately the goal will be to reduce the application response time. Now in today's world, it's like e-commerce world. So every web-based application that we will see, we are currently seeing any like Flipkart, Amazon, Google, anything, Facebook, everything is all about application response time. So if one application is taking, or if any one particular web page is taking too much of time, the user is not going to wait for that particular page to get here. It will move to some other websites. So that means if your performance of the application is not good, that means you are losing business here. So that is one important aspect why we need to carry out performance testing of each and every application. Second is like how many types of performance testing could be there. So as I have listed here, there could be multiple types of performance testing depending on your customer's requirement, or depending on your environment, depending on your like uh, user user base, your customer user base, and all of these things. So first thing is like load testing. Load testing is kind of like if you have the production data, if you have the production log, you can analyze the production log and get an overview that in 1 day period, like how many concurrent users are hitting your application. So in that case, we can calculate on an average user load throughout one particular single day, or throughout any particular period of time, let it be 1 hour or 2 hour or more than 2 hours. Or you can calculate the peak user load, which will be, or what does that mean is that let's say from 11 to 12 we have 1000 concurrent user load, but we can see that from 12 to 12:30, the number of user load has been increased to from 1000 to let's say 5000, and again after 12:30 we can see that user load is like almost same, like 1500 or 2000 or 1000, like that. So here the peak user load of any particular constant timeline is that from 12 o'clock, 12:30 o'clock, that is 5000 users. So we have to go for both of the user load. One is average load testing and second one is peak load testing. Second kind of performance testing would be stress testing. So stress testing is mainly to determine the breakpoint of your application. So you will be increasing the number of users in your application until and unless your application breaks down. That means either your application crashes or your just application got hanged over there. You are not getting any response from the application, anything. So that is kind of a stress testing. Third one is spike testing. Spike testing is a bit different than kind of regular testing. Like it's like at any certain uh, period of time, your number of users has certainly got increased. Then after a few minutes or few seconds, or it may be few hours, depending on the user's interest, your number of users has again got down, like that, and you are seeing a certain spike in your number of users. Okay, so that is kind of a spike testing. So we will discuss about all these scenarios later when we will be doing our we will be seeing the different kind of performance testing tools and their behaviors, scenario design, etc. Fourth one is endurance testing. Endurance testing means, as you can see from the name, that duration of the performance testing will be huge. It can be of 8 hours, can be of 1 day, can be of 2 days, can be of 3 days or more. So the basic purpose of the endurance testing is to see memory bottleneck, if there is any leak in your application anywhere, whether that is a thread pool leakage, connection pool leakage, memory leakage, whatever it is. So we will be testing that, like normally in a production environment, the application is not going to run only for 2 or 3 hours. It's going to be run for a longer duration. So you have to verify your application, that your application is running like for a constant period of longer time. Okay. Fifth one is capacity testing. So how much capacity your application has, and under current environment, like let's say you have two application servers and one web server and one database server. So under this scenario or under this environment, your application is behaving in the right way or your application is behaving in the wrong way. So if that is the case, if we are going to increase the capacity of your servers, let's say we are going to do a bit of vertical scaling or horizontal scaling. So that is the thing. And what is the capacity of your application of your servers? So we will discuss in much detail of this kind of testing later. Currently, I'm just giving an overview. And the last one but not the least is the failover testing. Failover testing is kind of, let's say you have a active software load balancer. So now what will happen? So if there are two active load balancer, if one of the load balancer goes down, then obviously the next sequential request should have to go to the other's load balancer so that your request doesn't get lost in the network. So the failover testing is kind of, if one goes down, other should be capable of handling those requests. That is kind of a failover testing. There are other aspects of failover testing, but I will discuss those things later, not right now. The third one is performance testing phases. So there are various phases of performance testing. First one is like performance testing planning, where you have to got in a call with the stakeholders or the developers or the functional tester guys to understand the scenarios, to understand the requirements, to understand why, I mean, what is the objective of this performance testing. Okay, second phase is the design phase, where you are going to de- design or create your master test plan, where you will be defining all of your scope, your objective, your scenarios, your everything, your exit criteria, entry criteria, everything. Third phase is configure the test environments. So in which environment you are going to perform your performance testing. And please always remember that performance testing environment should be always like a look-alike of your production environment. Because if capacity of your environment is less than the production environment, then obviously, I mean, the number of users or the resource consumption of your servers, whatever it will be on your current environment, will not be equals to your production environment. So it is always like it's always recommended to use production lookalike environment for the performance testing. Fourth one is the implementation, where you are going to develop your performance testing script using different performance testing tools. Fifth one is performance testing execution, where you will be doing the performance execution with certain user load. First of all, you need to get the requirements like the concurrent user load, the server details, your application architecture, everything from the stakeholders or from the developer point of contact. So once you get those details, and then you have to execute that certain number of user load, or if you are doing any kind of stress testing, you have to see the breakpoint of your application. Then you have to gradually increase the user load after a certain time. Then the sixth one is report analysis. Once your execution is over, you have to like gather all the reports of your execution reports, your server reports, and application server, web server, load balancer, database server, all of the details you have to gather and then analyze it. What are the performance bottlenecks? What are the response time of your transactions? Everything. Once you identify the performance issue in your application, raise the defect, and finally if everything is okay, then like if everything is not okay, give your recommendation to them. So yeah, once everything is fine, then the last phase, that is sign off phase, will be coming. That means that there is no risk from performance point of view, and if there is any risk, that has already been figured out by the stakeholders. So that was the some performance testing phases. And fourth is like there are some key terms that we use in performance testing. I will go through not all of this, but a few important key terms that we use in performance testing. First one is like user load or user base, customer user base. So there are actually three kind of terms under user load or user base. One is concurrent users, second one is simultaneous users, third is registered users. So I will give you one small example how you will be understanding this different kind of users. Let's consider Facebook application. So in Facebook application, let's say I'll just go for a smaller number. Let's say 1,000 users have been registered into Facebook application. So all of those 1000 users will be under registered users. Now let's say in one day, or let's say in one certain point of time, I mean to say, let's at 11:15 a.m. there are currently 500 users accessing the application. So at exactly 11:15 point of time, the number of concurrent users, that is the first one, is 500. Okay, but at that point of time, let's say 700 users have been logged in, but out of them only 500 users are accessing at that particular point of time, but the rest of the 200 users are not accessing any application API, or they are kind of like inactive users right now. So here 500 users are concurrent users, but simultaneous users will be those 200, because they are not using the application API right now, they are currently inactive. So that is the basic difference between among this users, concurrent, simultaneous, and registered users. Second one is like it's sometimes called like client-side statistics after any performance execution. So there are few terms that we have to understand here. First one is like hits per second, or I will say for now request per second. That means if the protocol is HTTP or HTTPS protocol via which there is a communication from client to server, then the number of HTTP requests, I will say, that is going from the client to the server side in 1 second. So that is like request per second or hits per second. Number of hits or number of HTTP requests that is going from client to server. Now server can be, if there is web server, so it will be maybe web server, or it can be application server. I will go into much more details about hits per second and request per second later. There is a bit difference between hits and requests. These things are not same, but for now let's just consider on the definition. How many requests are going, HTTP requests are going to the server in 1 second? That is the request per second. Second is throughput. Throughput is kind of like how many bytes of data the client is receiving from the server in 1 second or in 1 unit of time. I will repeat again. How many bytes of data you are actually, or the client is actually receiving from the server in 1 unit of time. This is actually from the performance point of view. Definition of throughput will be different from other perspective also. I will again say the same thing. I will go into the detail later about throughput, bits per second, and other things. Third one is the transaction response time. So the transaction response time is simple. If you are logging into the Facebook, or if you are logging into the Gmail, so what is the response time of your login transaction? Or if you are performing any particular step, like you are submitting any form, so how much second it has taken to submit that form? You are sending the request from the client side and you are receiving the first byte from the server. So the difference between that, sending the first byte from the client to the server and getting the first byte from the server to the client, the difference is the transaction response time. Fourth one, transaction pass rate or fail rate. It means simply that how many transactions have passed, how many transactions have failed. So there are other few terms from the client side statistics I will discuss later. I will also go through these points later in details. Third one is the server side statistics. So from server side statistics we can get application or web server resource usage in terms of, let's say, CPU utilization or memory utilization. Memory utilization can be of the OS box memory utilization or can be of JVM heap memory utilization. Third one is the thread utilization, the connection full monitor, and there are other things also. I will not go into much details right now. And also same for database server, then we can monitor the load balancer, the network traffic, and several other things. Fifth one is what are the different kind of performance testing tools in market. Load runner, JMeter, VSTS, NeoLoad, Western performance tester, RPT, load UI, etc. I have mostly used load runner and JMeter. I have some experience on VSTS and I have done one certification in NeoLoad. So my videos will be mainly on load runner and JMeter. I will guide you through how to do scripting in load runner. I will guide you through different kind of protocols we have in load runner. I will also do the other things like designing a scenario, execute the test, report analysis, everything in load runner. And also do the same for JMeter. I will not analyze NeoLoad or I will not go into details about NeoLoad, VSTS, RPT, load UI, etc. And the last one is the performance monitoring tools. So in market currently, if you are working in any of the MNC and if you are a performance tester, then obviously you have worked on most of these performance monitoring tools. Like there are Wiley Introscope, Dynatrace, App Dynamics, Splunk, Foglight, Perf Monitor, JConsole, JVisual VM, JMC, Java Mission Control, Sitescope, App Dynamics, Ashmon, and you can also collect the AWR report. It's not a performance monitoring tool, but for Oracle database, you can collect the AWR report and analyze different like logs, latches, soft pulse, hard pulse, physical read, logical reads, etc. So this is all that I have to say for this particular video. This video is only like a overview of the performance testing. So in my next video, I will go only or solely on the load runner. I will create one single script using Web HTTP HTML protocol. I will I will first of all go into various parts of load runner. What are the components of load runner? Then I will go into scripting for different protocols. I will go into details of how to do parameterization, how to do correlation, how to do advanced correlation. I will also work on various other protocols like Flex, Ajax2 client, and I will also go into details of those. And then I will go into like load runner execution part, performance execution part using load runner, then analysis. I will also go through most of the monitoring tools. So that is all for today. See you in the next video. I will request you to please like my video, share my video, and subscribe to my channel. And also please do let me know if I am wrong in anywhere of this particular tutorial via comments. Thanks a lot. Thank you very much guys. Bye bye.